Welcome to TNT Podcast. I'm Toyin.
And I'm Tokumba. Welcome to the very first show of 2024 and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. For this new year, for today, we're going to focus on our aspirations and, of course, our reflections from the previous year, because you can't move forward without actually reflecting on the past.
That's true, yeah.
And along with that, we're going to have a few questions that we're going to just ask and talk about and reflect. And, of course, in light of that, one of the first questions that we're going to go and talk about is, what would you say was the most important lesson for you for 2023?
So for 2023, for me, the most important lesson for me was that it's never too late to go after your dreams. There'd been so many things that I had on my bucket list for so long that I was able to achieve in 2023. Okay. And it felt really good, because for a number of years, some of these things, I was really hard on myself because, when you have something on your list and then you have to take it to the next year and the next year and the next year, you kind of feel a little bit defeated. Like, why am I not able to achieve this? Yes. Why am I not that superwoman, tackling motherhood and everything on my list? So, but doing it in 2023 and how a lot of those things panned out, it kind of made me feel like that was when it was supposed to be done.
Absolutely.
And so it's just allowing yourself that grace that, things will get done when they need to be done, as long as you're just not sitting there being lazy. But, so that it's never too late to go after your dreams or the things that you want to do.
I like that. That's really true. For me, I would say that one thing I learned from the previous year is just understanding and knowing that everything does not require urgency.
Correct.
I feel it's like running around, and even, physically and mentally, just knowing when to simmer down and knowing that you can achieve everything just by prioritizing.
Yeah.
So I
agree with that.
A key thing that I took away from last year.
Yeah. And that we're all running our own race, like everybody's race is different. Yep. I think there's a tendency sometimes that when we see other people, and this is the time of social media where everyone is like, highlighting what they're doing. Yep. And sometimes you kind of feel like, oh, what am I doing with my life? Why is this person doing this and doing this? And you kind of, sometimes we kind of look at that like, oh, wow, this person is doing so great. Uh-huh. Why am I not doing the same? But we're all running different races. Yeah. And, as long as we can cheer other people on and focus on our own race. And Absolutely. I think that's, you're right. Not everything is urgent, really.
So what would you say you enjoyed most for 2023?
100% my trip to London with the family. Okay. It was just awesome because we got to spend time with, my in-laws, my husband's sisters. This was the first time he had not seen them in so long because usually, he doesn't like to travel that much. I'm the one, I've gone a couple of times. But this time just taking the girls, it was just really fun. It was nice to meet family, it was like a family reunion. So I really enjoyed that. It was really nice.
Yeah, for me, for last year, that was very vital. It was more so I rode on a camel. I know it sounds like, what was the big deal about that? The big deal is I overcame my fear, because anyone who knows me knows that my relationship with animals is
non-existent,
long distance. So that was a huge thing for me to have to do that, because even while I was doing it, I had moments I was like, what in the world are you doing? I had thought about just jumping off. But
camels sounds scary, because I'm afraid of when they just rise up.
No, let me tell you, it felt like I was heading to heaven.
Like you're about to fall
But
off.
I hung in there, and it was a fulfilling moment because I overcame my fear.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Where did you do this?
This was when I went to Morocco.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah.
Far away from home, if anything happened.
I want to go to Morocco. That sounds fun.
So,
is it like Dubai kind of vibe?
Just the desert part of it. Yeah. But I'm not saying that I've overcome my fear and I'm now going to go sit in the lion's den.
If I get a dog, you're not coming to my house anytime soon.
Just let's take baby steps.
Baby steps.
So that was one thing that I thought, I was happy about, and I'm working towards getting better.
Yeah. Oh, no, I get it. Definitely.
So what would you say was your favorite moment from last year?
Oh, 100% starting our podcast was my absolute favorite moment. We've been talking about it for so long, strategizing for so long. Yeah. So to see it actually happen, there's nothing like when you plan something and then it happens. And so it's definitely one of my favorite moments. Also, in 2023, my daughter turned 16 and she's definitely not a party person, but her allowing me to actually throw her a party was just the best for me. And I just really enjoyed it.
What you enjoy doing.
Yes. So yes. And, but it was just nice to celebrate her because it's usually all about the little sister. And so to actually have all the focus on her this time was really special. And, they're growing up so fast. It's off to college next year. So, those moments really are special when, we get to do things with them and celebrate. So, yeah.
Yeah. So for me also, the podcast was definitely that moment that I would say yes. Just talking about it, seeing it come to fruition was something that was very special.
Yeah.
And fulfilling as well. Like, you talk about something and when it actually happens, you're excited and pat on the back too.
Yes,
like, hey, So let's see. How did you have fun in 2023?
Lots of girls' night out. I love to eat. So lots of, had a lot of fun time with my friends, food, visiting different restaurants. There are so many new, nice brunch places that sprung up in the DMV area. So really enjoyed that. I think locking down my circle of who my core people are and just enjoying that, knowing that it's not about the masses. You don't have to have thousands of friends, but having a select group of, people that you really enjoy.
Yeah.
I really had a good time last year, I think.
So for me, fun for me is not anything too excessive. Fun is supposed to be simple, just mainly doing what I like doing. I like to travel. I like to learn about new culture. Just learning in the non-traditional way.
Yeah. And you do travel a lot. You travel for work and then you travel for fun. And you're always at the airport.
But learning about other cultures, way of life, and just like to compare.
Yeah. It's nice because sometimes we tend to maybe just stay in our own little bubble. And it's nice to just go out and see how other people live and other people are doing things and other cultures.
Learning from them too.
Yeah, and it also, helps you get to be more grateful, or appreciative
of certain things.
Yeah.
Some things that you see elsewhere and you're like, wow.
Correct.
I have it easy.
Yes.
Or could be the other way around. This is how they're living.
Helps you want to achieve more as well.
Yes. So that for me is some of the fun things that I did. And I'm actually, grateful that I had the opportunity to be able to learn a few things from other people, other cultures.
Yeah,
so
for sure. Yeah. What advice would you give your last year self?
Last year, there are quite a number of advice for last year, but I think for now I focus more on parenting. I think I would advise myself for last year to take a backseat role, with a few things regarding parenting, just learning to just sit back and allow for growth on their end, in their path, growth, independency, and just being able to learn,
let them drive some things.
So
it's really hard because, as they're getting older, it's really hard. I struggle with that as well, to relinquish control. It's really, really hard. But if we don't relinquish control, we're never going to know what they're able to handle, right? We can't hover over them for the rest of their lives.
Absolutely.
Part of life is making mistakes. And when you make mistakes is how do you recover from that mistake? And if we don't relinquish some control, not letting them go buck wild, but
absolutely,
but we have to allow them to stumble sometimes so that they can learn how to recover when that happens. And also saying, I always tell my kids, if you do something, I'm looking for the integrity of you coming up and saying, I did it, even if we're going to be mad at you. And that's how you start to learn that are they the type of children who they love they want to show us that they can own up to things that they did wrong.
Accountability,
yeah. And so that's how because then we know to trust them with more.
Yeah.
Because
another thing that allows for when we try to do that is allows them to develop a better problem-solving skills.
Correct.
This way they see situations and they have a thought process and say, how do I get to solve this?
Yeah.
Because that's one of the key skills that's important in life.
It is.
Problem solving
Yeah.
skills, you know?
Yeah.
Helps you to think, critical thinking, which they begin to develop at this teenage year. So I think
Yeah, no,
I
for
learned
sure.
that's definitely something I'm going to, and I think it's an area where there really isn't right or wrong when it comes to parenting per se, but it's just knowing when to sit back and when to step in.
Because it's hard, because
Yeah.
you can watch your children and you see that this is about to be a train wreck.
Yeah.
You know, you can see some kids, and because of the pattern of behaviors of some of their friends, you're like,
So
this
right.
one is not a good friend.
I know, right?
However, we have to let them come to that conclusion on their own. And because then that also helps us to see how they think, you know, like
Yeah.
if I see a situation that my child is walking into, knowing that she shouldn't be walking into that situation, I want to see her come to that conclusion on her own. I don't want to always have to be the one to tell her, hey, don't do this. I want her to sometimes think for herself that maybe this is not a good thing for me to do.
Or when they
And
come with
so-
you with a situation, the first thing I ask is, what do you think you should do?
Yeah,
How
that's a
should
good-
you solve
yeah,
this?
that's awesome.
Because it's like, I'm tired of thinking too for you.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
No,
yeah.
that's definitely 100%
I'm learning that one.
a really good one. For me, I think that I would say the advice that I would give myself last year would be, it's okay. It will all work out. That nothing is too serious, you know. I'm someone who sometimes I can get so wound up about everything and be so, you know, I don't know, kind of rigid about doing things
human nature.
outside the box sometimes. And I'm learning more as I get older to just, you know, let go. Not necessarily only when it comes to my children, but even for me, that things are not always so serious. It's not always the end of the world. It will be okay.
Yes,
you know.
indeed.
So breathe.
It will be okay.
Breathe.
Yes.
It will be okay.
Do you think that comes with age?
No, because I feel like there are some people who have always mastered that art of just, my husband being one of those people, like
Those are
not
special
a lot of he doesn't really let a lot of things take him out of his, you know, character, because he's so sure
Yeah.
of certain things that it doesn't matter what anybody else says. If he has this way he wants to do something, or what he's sure of, he doesn't let anybody like kind of intimidate him to not go after certain things.
It's also learning to
Yeah.
just rise above emotions and just maintain.
But I think also, though, for me, getting older has definitely helped me worry less about what other people think
Can't
or
control.
say. Because I think I've lived enough to know that it doesn't matter what you do, people will always have an opinion. So I don't
that's-
want my opinion to be based on trying to please people, or trying to, you know, stay within a clique or stay within a group of people.
will burn that fast.
Yes. And at the end of the day, if I feel strongly about something, I'm going to go off of how I feel. And even if I stumble and fall, at least I did it based on how I felt, not because somebody else steered me that way. So I think that that's definitely one thing that in 2023, I relaxed a lot more.
Yes.
And it was
so did
great.
I. Yeah. Yeah.
I relaxed a
see
lot
that's
more.
happening.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
More and more
Yeah.
as the years are going by.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're moving to 2024.
Yes,
Aspirations for
yes.
this year. Brand new year. So we reflected on the previous year, and now we're going to focus on what are we going to do this year? How are we
Yes.
going to do them?
And that's
Things
great
that-
because, you know, this is the time of year where everyone is making all of their New Year resolutions and
that
stuff.
word,
I hate the
resolutions.
word
Can't stand it.
resolutions as well, because it's
Because you break
everybody.
it in like what? The second month? Sometimes.
Yeah.
Or don't even
I
start.
know this is the time of year where everybody's going to be at the gym. You can't get to the gym in January. Although, you know, I was like, at the end of the year, I'm like, okay, so we're here again. So, but for me in 2024, I think that one thing that I'm going to do in 2024 is I'm going to be very stingy with my yeses. I feel like I
Okay.
tend to say yes a lot because, you know, and I always have good intention when somebody comes to me and they want me to do this or jump on a project or do whatever. And I'll be like, okay, you know, sure, without taking into account everything else that might be on my
comes along
plate
with it.
or how long it's going to take for certain things to be done.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to say yes to open-ended things anymore. There has to be like a time I have to know when is it going to start, when is it going to end, because I also don't want to disappoint people. But at the same time, I found out in 2023 that I put so much on my plate that caused me some distress at times.
You see?
Because I just said yes to too many people. And I also found out that just because you then are so gracious with your yeses does not mean that they will be when it's flipped around.
Yes.
Like sometimes I just wonder, like people would I'm just like, how could you, be okay with yourself after X, Y, and Z that you've gone out of your way to do, but when it comes to your turn, like they just won't show up for you the same way. So I've realized that I can't blame people because they didn't ask me to say yes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to think very well in 2024 before I give my yes. I'm going to be very stingy with my yeses this year.
Not to me, though.
I'm always good. Yes, not to certain people. There are certain people that will be in that circle bubble of trust.
But you really should. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
We need to be really careful about things like that. Just also for you to maintain your integrity in terms of, okay, my yes is my yes, my no is my no. You want to be able to make sure you're forthcoming with your yeses.
Exactly.
You don't want to be known for that person that says yes and yet doesn't deliver.
Right.
So, but at the same time, you don't want to keep saying yes because, you don't want to burn out.
Right.
And you want people to value your yes.
Yes, exactly.
So, yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure.
In my case, for 2024, my intention this year is more so to make sure that I'm making more realistic timelines for whatever it is that I want to attain. A lot of times we set goals. Obviously, people are now focused on making sure that their goals are realistic.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I think a lot of times we fail, or I'll talk for myself, is because we're now setting this unrealistic timelines to attain them.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to do this. People talk about, I'm going to lose 10 pounds in 1 week. Yeah. How are you going to lose 10 pounds in 1 week?
Tell me about it, because when I got to
did you gain the 10 pounds in 1 week?
December 31st, I was like, oh, okay, so we're just going to take this pounds into 20. But guess what? It's okay.
Yeah.
I just always realized, like, when we're trying to go for this goal weight of what you were, 20 years ago, so many things have changed. You just have to give yourself grace,
Yes.
Like, I love that video that says, not everybody's going to have flat tummy. What's that?
Oh, there's that. Yeah.
It's so funny.
I know.
Although, so I completely agree with you.
Yeah, so I'm now going to be looking at my timelines. They have to be realistic. I'm going to kind of like also evaluate those within a certain time, like break it down by the quarter.
Yeah.
Okay, have I done what I said I want to do within this 3 months? I'm reevaluating them and making sure that these timelines are attainable.
Yeah.
So that I just don't feel disappointed.
Yeah. Because if it's not realistic, that's what ends up happening.
The timeline.
Like, even the fad diets, like you mentioned, it's like, okay, so you drop it though. A lot of people will drop this in 20. Okay, everyone wants to do this in the beginning of the year. But are we actually making a lifetime change? Are we making,
part of your lifestyle.
That's what I am focused on this year. Yeah, I definitely want to, be better physically, better mentally, better. Yep. All of that goes towards clarity, but not doing any type of fad diet or anything like that, because it's not achievable. And even if you achieve it, then you're going to be back here in April after
from square one.
So
back to square one.
Exactly. So
yeah. So just
100%. Yeah.
I know. So for me, like I said, setting realistic timelines for whatever goal or anything. So
For me, I would say mine too is somewhat related to projects, is, just continue. I have so many projects that I started last year that I really want to continue doing this year, and making sure that I stay on top of doing that. And also just trusting God and enjoying the process, right? The trust in the process, trusting God in the process, and then trusting that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. I think there's so many things that may have happened in past years that at the time you feel it's traumatic to you, but then fast forward to a number of years later and you're like, there was a reason why God allowed X, Y, and Z to happen, because now when I look back, I'm seeing that if some of those things didn't happen, I wouldn't even be the person that I am today.
Yeah.
I may not have the humility that I have, or that I should have, or the tenacity that I do
push
have.
through.
So being that has always been the case every time, I'm now learning to just trust God, because he's not let me down yet.
Yeah.
So why am I worrying? Because I know that he always has good intentions for me, and that it's going to be okay. So
Yeah, that's key. As humans, we just have the tendency to just worry and try to feel like we can control things. We're not in all aspect of it. We really can't control anything,
Yeah.
And things happen for a reason. We learn from it.
That's
we
the
move from
key,
it. Yeah.
right? It happens because there's sometimes like maybe you didn't get a job or you didn't get a promotion, and you're so upset about it, and you're like, why did this happen? God, why did you let this happen? But eventually, years down the line,
feel like
when you see maybe it was
really
some
wanted that.
director that ended up being so horrible, and then you now see like, oh, thank God I didn't get that job, or so I think it's just I'm just learning to trust the process a lot more.
So for 2024, what I want to continue to do that I think I've been doing previous year that has worked and I want to continue to do, I think I want to continue to listen more. I have developed that skills through the years to learn to listen, and I want to make sure that I continue to do that.
Yeah.
I think it's helped me so much. Just as much as you think listening, I don't know if I could call that my superpower. I don't know if
Listening.
yeah, it sounds odd.
Yeah, because we know mine is talking. So.
Yeah, but I think I've learned to listen. And with that listening, I think I've come to understand a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I understand things better.
Yeah.
And I was like, where was this skill when I was in high school?
Yeah. No.
I would have been like A in math, A in everything.
Yeah. No, it's actually good because sometimes, it also helps you not to jump to conclusions. You know how there's sometimes where in a situation someone is talking, but you already know what you want to say. So you're actually not listening to anything they're saying. You've already formed your opinion. You're just waiting for them to stop talking so you can jump in and say what you want to say. But that's key. Yeah. I think listening is really great. I've also developed a lot more listening because God knows I can talk a lot, but listening is also good because it helps you. Are you really understanding what this person is saying, or are you just going to stay stuck on what
your formed opinion, your formed thoughts, or whatever?
Right. Yeah. And I've also learned it's not always about winning an argument. Sometimes you have to humbly accept that you may have been wrong in a situation, and that only comes from really listening to that person and understanding their point of view. Also.
So
I like that.
I'm going to keep listening.
Yeah. So what would you do in 2024 to step out of your comfort zone?
That's anything concerning stepping out of comfort zone is always tough.
You won't even, I know I can't do something so permanent. Toy, why can't you wear contacts? Oh my God.
No, I'm not going there yet. I just recently started wearing glasses.
It's like, you would even put contacts on. Toy would not put contacts. Just like, oh my God, that's so permanent. It's going in my eye.
I don't know. There's something about me and permanent stuff. I wouldn't even color my hair.
I know.
I think about it and I'm like, why? But I don't know. So for me, I've always been this cardio person. Like running was never a big deal for me. Of course, now the running is like, listen, you want to have your knees when you're like in your 70s, you better simmer down. So I think I'm going to step out of that and I'm going to start doing something more strength-wise, like
Pilates. Have you seen the wall Pilates?
I started the wall Pilates.
Did you do it? Oh my God.
I did.
I'm thinking about doing that this year. But
I want to take it a step further and get more into the weightlifting.
Yeah, weightlifting is
never do that.
I mean, for us in our 40s, that is definitely strength. They say we have to like incorporate a lot more strength training. So you're
definitely stepping out of my zone.
Yeah.
I'm going to attempt that this year.
Yeah. And you might actually see even better results than just cardio. That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
Now I think I'm actually being forced out of my comfort zone due to like years of impact.
Yeah,
with the
okay, on
running.
your knee. Yeah, yeah,
So
I
now
get it.
I'm
Yeah.
going to step out of my comfort zone. What
Yeah.
are you doing for that?
So for me, I think I already started some of that in 2023 in stepping out of my comfort zone in church, in doing more, in coming out from, usually I kind of like to stay in the background. I'm not really coming out in trying things, but I'm putting myself more out there. And I think it's okay. Even in 2023, my friend had me MC one of our events for our nonprofit organization, which was great because normally I would shy away from things like that. I'm like, oh my God, no, I don't want to do
Crowd.
that. And people are like, why? But you talk so much. I'm like, yeah.
It's
but
a different thing.
it's
Sitting
a
here and
different
talking
skill
and
set.
having
Yeah.
crowd.
But I also found out that a lot of that sometimes is just me getting in my own head sometimes. And so I'm allowing myself to, just step out more and not be so quick to want to like not do things. And I'm okay with if I try it and it fails. I think in the past, I've always been so scared of failure or how it's going to look if I do it and it doesn't look right. But I've just learned that it's okay.
That's common
if I
for a
do
lot of
it
people.
and it doesn't go well, oh well, I'll learn from it and I'll try it again or do something else next time. So so I just continue to, go after the things that I want to do and have fun doing it.
Yeah, that's good. So let's see. How will you help others this year?
That is a fantastic question. How will I help others? So as you know, my bestie, aka Miss Chioma, that she has a nonprofit organization.
Yes.
And that nonprofit organization, Moms and Me, that, we've been part of for the past 7 years. We do a lot of great things. We go to the homeless shelters. We go to feed. We raise money. We do all of those things. So we even had a workshop. We even have a workshop in the summertime that just kind of for a whole week with inner city kids and our own kids. And it's just going through so many things, helping them with homework, assignments, and things like that, how to prepare for school.
Okay.
So those are the things that I kind of do to help others. And I think it's just something that I will continue to do. It also really allows my children to also see that not everyone is privileged to have some of the things that they have.
Yeah.
So when they go to serve other people, it humbles them. It helps them appreciate the things that they do have.
Yeah.
And so, so that's one thing is working with our nonprofit organization and just continue to do. We target a lot of people all over the world, Nigeria, Tanzania, all of those things. Yeah. So, yeah.
Great work. How will I help others? I think for me, probably being more available.
Yeah.
Like creating time for helping, whatever way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Because just being available is important. Also meaningful help, like perhaps being mentor.
Yeah.
I want to do that. I want to get a little more. I don't typically get to do the traditional, go to the shelter, feed and things. I don't do all of that.
Maybe I'll invite you to one of those.
Yeah, so I think it's something that I should endeavor to do more of now. So.
I mean, it's so different because I remember one year when we actually went to this homeless shelter. And what was so stunning about that was that if you saw the people in that shelter outside, you would never know they were homeless. There were families where they say they would come there to eat their meals and things like that. Homelessness does not look how it used to look in the past anymore. It's not so much that you see somebody with their clothes torn or whatever. You see families that come in there that look just like you and I, dressed well and everything, and they are homeless. The only way the meals that they can get will be at that shelter. So we love doing that with our girls, where they get to go and serve these people. And they had lots of questions after that because they were just, shocked. So why don't they have homes? How come their dad cannot, feed them? And let them know that not everyone.
Yeah, there are different things going on.
There are different things that may have contributed to them just being homeless. But again, if you're thinking that homelessness is like what we used to see in the past, it's different nowadays. Yeah. It's completely different.
I've done those type of projects, but I've done them in Nigeria, so I've seen
Yeah.
going to like the orphanage and things like
Yeah.
that. But yeah, definitely, I want to do more
Yeah.
meaningful ways of helping. So,
Yeah. Wonderful.
well, I think we can come up with one more. What will you say no to this year?
Anything that does not bring me joy.
There we go.
I will be saying no to anything that is going to test my peace,
Okay.
that is going to stress me out, anyone that is going to I'm going to be so protective of my space and my I don't want any stress. I don't want any
So Kumba is
negativity.
going to be on the zero
Fagile
tolerance.
mode. Yeah, no. And because even over the past years, there are times where there's certain people that will be in your space that that are just not
The vibe is
their
just not right.
principles are just different from yours.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be very okay with staying far away from this year, because what are we doing? Like, why? I don't have to be in company of people that don't bring me joy.
I agree.
And I choose not to. So,
I agree. Yeah. This year, I have decided my no will be no alarms on the weekend. I do not want to hear the alarm on the weekend.
Oh, I've
I
been
am
doing
not-
that for years. Everybody
yeah,
knows.
so-
Like, even my mom, she'll say, I didn't call you because I know you're not going to be up on Saturday.
Yes.
Asleep.
So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm saying zero to
No,
alarms.
it's good. You
on
need
the
to
weekend.
rest because you're always on the road
Yeah,
in the
so
airports.
yes,
Yeah.
for sure. That's my no this year.
Yeah. No, 100%.
I already said no to zero tolerance to any of those
Yeah.
things in the past. So this year I'm
Yeah.
focusing on my sleep, my rest,
No,
and all that.
it's important,
Yes.
Yeah. No, 100%. Well, I really enjoyed this question.
Yes.
Like, these are great questions.
Hopefully we can maintain all of these things that we
Yes.
want to achieve
Yes.
this year.
Yeah.
And I hope everyone too can let us know what it is that you're looking forward to doing in 2024 and what you're definitely saying no to in 2024.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah.
If you're listening on the podcast, please kind of give us a 5-star rating and comment. If you're watching on YouTube, please respond and let us know, what are your reflections from last year and what are your aspirations for 2024. We would like to hear you answer some of these questions and tell us what you're up to, and we can all do this together as a family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you again for listening
Thank you.
and have a great week. Thank you.